have 3,400,000. So I'm going to write that number down. I actually have a million space, which is rare. Okay, so 3,400,000. Okay, and from 3,400,000, and if it helps you, if you need to put your commas, then you can. I get 34,000. So 34,000 is going to, whoops, the 3 goes under 10,000s, and the 4 goes under thousands, and then the rest of my zeros. So I'm going to see how many times I move my 3 over, because it's easier to look at the 3. Okay, so I move over 1, 2. So my pattern is dividing by 2. How did I know that it was dividing by 2? First of all, I'm dividing because my number is moving to my right. That means my number is decreasing. My number is getting smaller, right? We went from 3,400,000 to 34,000. That is much smaller. My number is decreasing. So decreasing by 2 specifically, I went over 1 2 times. So I'm dividing by 2. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to divide by 2 for the next number. So right here, I'm going to divide by 2. 1, 2. So my 3 is now right here, and my new number is 340. I'm going to write that down, 340. Okay? And when I move it over 2 times, again, I'm going to get 3.4. Okay? See that? Now, what if I move it again? That's exactly the same as this. What if I move it one more time? I'm going to move it over 2 times, right? So my 3 is now here, and my 4 is now right there. Okay, this is my decimal. So right here, I would put a 0, because like I told you before, you need to put a 0 or you're going to get 34 hundreds instead of 34 tenths. You need to add your 0. So my final answer is 0.034. Okay, you're dividing by 2. Now, I'm going to go over the next question for problem C. I can look at these 2 numbers right here, so you can kind of see. I have 85 and 7 tenths. Oh, right, 85 and 7 tenths. Let me move this up. 85 and 7 tenths, and then it changes to 8 and 57 hundredths. So it looks like my number is moving over once, okay? So that means that I am dividing because it's moving to your right, and I'm dividing by 1 because I only move over 1 time. So all of these numbers mean that you're going to move over only 1 time, right? 85, and then I move to 8.57. So I'm only moving, dividing by 10. I noticed that I didn't put 100 for this one. You're dividing by 100. This one you're dividing by 10. Or you can also say, this one you can say 10 to the power of 2. If that makes more sense to you. Okay? So I know that I'm dividing by 10. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So in order to find the number before me, that means that I have to increase my number to 1 time. So this number is going to be multiplied once in order to figure out what goes before it, because there's a pattern, right? So let's see. I'm going to start at this one first. I have 8,570. Oh, 8,000. Why did I put it in the ones place? 8,570. Okay? And like I told you before, you're going to make sure that you are going to go up twice because this is the starting point. Okay? So I'm going to go 1 time, or actually 1 time. So if I move my 8 over once, then my new number is going to be 85,700. Okay? So my next number, I'm going to be dividing by 10. So this number right here, 8,570, is going to move over 1 time to my left. So it's going to be 857 okay? And then it changes to 85 and 7, and then it changes to 8 and 57 tenths. So from 8 and 57 tenths, I'm going to write that right here. 8 and 57 tenths, I'm going to move over once. Divide one time. So I'm going to get 0.857. 0.857, which you read as 857 thousandths. Okay, now I have D. For D, it's pretty simple because I noticed that the number is getting actually larger. I don't know why I put divided by 10. That's multiplied by 10. My number is getting larger. I'm multiplying by 10. I'm moving over one time for each one. So right here I have 444, 4,440, 44,400. So the next one is going to be 444,000. The next one is going to be 4,000,000 and 44,000. Ooh, it's not even going to fit very well. And then the next one, I'm going to have 44,400,000. Okay, I'm just adding a 0 to each digit because I'm multiplying times 10. Now this one, I noticed when I went, this one is actually increasing. If you look at it, it goes from 9.5 and then it goes to 950. It's increasing by 10 to the power of 2. Okay, so that means that for this one right here, 9.5, I need to make sure that I am dividing 9.5 by 2 times. So we're going to go 1, 2. So I have 9, 5 right there. So my answer is going to be 0.095. And then when I increase, I have 95,000. And I'm going to multiply. So right here, 95,000. Okay, and then I am going to add 2 zeros because I'm multiplying times 10 to the power of 2. So I'm going to add 2 zeros to this. So it's going to move right here. So 1, 2. So my new number is going to be 9,500,000. And my last number, I'm going to add another 2 zeros. So it's going to be 9, let's see, 2 more zeros. So this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. This one is going to be 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my new number is 950 million. Wow, large numbers. Okay, so this is the pattern that we are seeing. I'm going to have you guys turn the page. The next page is page 16. On page 16, it says, after a lesson on exponents, Tia went home and said to her mom, I learned that 10 to the power of 4 is the same as 40,000. She has made a mistake in her thinking. Use words, numbers, or place value chart to help explain Tia correct her mistake. So Tia took the 4 and she added 4 zeros. This is not the same as 10 to the power of 4. 10 to the power of 4 means 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, right? So that would give you 1,000. So she did not do that correctly. She probably thought, oh, 10 to the power of 4 means I put 4 and then I add 4 more zeros. So that's incorrect. Now, for problem 5, it asks you to solve 247 divided by 10 to the power of 2 and 247 times 10 to the power of 2. So what I did here was I used a place value chart, okay? I made sure that I had a place value chart so that you guys can see what that would look like. So I plugged in 247, this is the problem I'm doing right here, and then divided by 10 to the power of 2. That means that I'm going to move my 2, or my numbers, 2 place values over. So I move 2 over 1, 2, and I put my 2 here. My 4 over 2 times, 1, 2, and my 7, same thing, 1, 2. That's why my new answer is going to be 2 and 47 hundredths, okay? Now, they also want me to solve this one, and I put it on the same place value chart. 247, and this time you're multiplying times 10 to the power of 2. So I'm moving over 2 2 times. And I'm multiplying, so my number is increasing. 1, 2. Same thing with the 4. 1, 2. Same thing with 7. 1, 2. And then I added my 2 zeros because if I don't add it, I'm going to get a completely different answer. Okay? Now, for problem A, they're asking what is different. They want to know what is different about the two answers. Use words, numbers, or pictures to explain how the digits shift. So for this one right here, and I colored that in pink so you can see it better, dividing by 100 makes the number smaller. So the decimal moves 2 spaces to the left, or place value. When you're multiplying by 100, makes the number bigger. So the decimal moves 2 spaces to the right. So if you look at the decimal right here, it's not moving because we drew it like this, but if you were to just look at the numbers by themselves, you would notice that the decimal has changed. It went from here, and then for this one, it is right here, okay? Now, problem B. Based on the answers from the pair of expressions above, solve 247 divided by 10 to the power 3 and 247 times 10 to the power 3. So the first one right here, 247 divided by 10 to the power 3. I actually wrote down 247 right here, and then divided by 10 to the power 3. That means that I need to move my my numbers over 3 times. So I move my 2 over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Same thing with my 4. 1, 2, 3. Same thing with my 7. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So my new number is 0, or you can say 0 and 247. I think that's in the thousands place. I almost forgot to write these. 110, 100, 1,000. Yes, it's in the thousands place. Now, on this one, 247 times 10 to the power 3, I wrote it down here. 247. Now, when I'm multiplying, I'm moving my number to the left because my numbers are getting larger. So, in this case, they want you to move it 3 times. How do I know that? It says 10 to the power 3. So that's what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. I have 2 right here, and I move my 4. 1, 2, 3. And my 7. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And I added my zeros because if I don't do that, then I'm going to get 247. That's not the same as 247,000. Okay? Make sure you add your zeros to put the correct answer. Okay? So that is all for today. That is page 16. Please let me know if you have any questions the next day in class.